Today's lesson is called Twisted History, a tangled tale of tongue twisters. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff.
I'm Roger. Today we're going to continue talking about English tongue twisters. It's a tangled tale of tongue twisters. And we talked about some famous ones last time. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. That, of course, is based on a Frenchman who is trying to stop the Dutch from controlling the spice trade, and he did various things to sell spices and plants to poor people. We've also got this fossil hunter, Mary Anning, and she was the basis for the tongue twister, She Sells Seashells by the Seashore.
These are tangled histories, folks, that we're talking about here. They're going to be slightly confusing, but interesting and fun as well. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Many tongue twisters will trip your tongue up, but some manage to trip right off your tongue. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood is one of the easiest in the English language. This little gem may have had its beginnings in the chorus of a song in a 1903 Broadway musical. If you're curious about the answer to the question it poses, you should know there's no such thing as a woodchucking woodchuck, so we may never find out.
各位好，第一个部分我们看到一个片语 trip off the tongue 或 roll off the tongue 或 trip off somebody's tongue 或 roll off somebody's tongue 表示容易念或发音。字面上是从舌头滚出来，用来表示某事物很容易说或容易被谈起，也就是朗朗上口或经常挂在嘴边。所以可以说 A restaurant's name should be something that trips off one's tongue. 餐厅的名字应该要很容易朗朗上口。另外补充相关的片语 trip up 指使失误或使犯错，也可以用 trip your tongue up 来表示使某人的舌头打结。举例来说 The police officers tripped up the suspect during questioning. 警方在侦讯嫌犯时诱导他脱口招认。或者说 Reading those complicated sentences tripped my tongue up. 念这些复杂的句子让我的舌头打结。接着我们看到动词 chuck 指随意的扔、抛、丢。例如 Max chucked his camping gear in his car and headed for the mountains. Max 把露营装备丢上车就出发上山了。另外补充与 chuck 相关的片语 chuck out 有赶出、驱逐某人之意，像是 The drunken man was chucked out of the restaurant. 那个喝醉酒的男子被赶出了餐厅。
Okay, we've got a couple more tongue twisters to talk about today. Maybe you've heard of this one. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Ooh, that's kind of hard to say.
No,
but,
you think that's hard to say? How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Very good. You're very clever there.
That's not clever at all. It sounds great. It just trips right off my tongue. I love saying that one.
Well,
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Cool. Well, that's kind of what it says here. Many tongue twisters will trip your tongue up. Like some of the other ones there, they're difficult to say. You'll get tripped up, which means you kind of get confused and you screw up if you're trying to say something or if you're trying to do something, you get tripped up. But as we have Jeff here as an example, that tongue twister just tripped right off his tongue. He could say it really easily, whereas I have great difficulty trying to say that, and I'm not going to embarrass myself anymore by trying to say it again. But again, that is one that trips right off his tongue, but it trips my tongue up.
There you go. If something trips right off your tongue, it's fun, easy, and enjoyable to say, not unlike the next phrase. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I love saying it. I could say it all day long. Now, the other tongue twisters from day one, I can't say those. I'm very bad at saying them. This one, though, it trips right off my tongue. It's almost fun to say this particular tongue twister. Anyways, It says here that this phrase, this tongue twister, is one of the easiest in the English language. Yes, it trips right off the tongue, and this little gem may have had its beginnings in the chorus of a song in a 1903 Broadway musical, which I did not know. You learn something new every day, but that's why you read this magazine and especially the history articles. Now, before we move on, let's talk about two vocabulary words to be found in this sentence here. First of all, gem. Here, a gem is not a precious stone, but very often gems are precious stones. Diamonds, rubies, sapphires, stones like that would be considered gems. Here, though, we're not being literal. Here, a gem is just something that is fine or really, really good. Then we also have the word chorus. Again, this has a couple of different meanings. A chorus can be a group of people who sing hymns in a church or something like that, a group of people who sing songs together, usually a large group of people like this. But it can also mean this. The chorus of a song is the part of a song that is repeated over and over again and is usually often memorable. It's the part of the song that when you hear that song the first time, it's the part of the song that you remember.
Yep, it's the one that's repeated, and of course that happens in Broadway musicals all the time. So yes, this gem of a tongue twister may have come from some Broadway musical in the chorus of a particular song. If you're curious about the answer to the question it poses, you should know there's no such thing as a woodchucking woodchuck, so we may never find out. I did want to say that basically what that phrase means is that we've got this woodchuck, which is kind of a North American animal, and if you chuck something, that usually means you throw it away. Hey, we've got some leftover rice here. What should we do? Just chuck it. Just throw it away. So maybe this woodchuck, this animal, is going to throw away some wood, but I don't think woodchucks actually do that. Maybe a beaver would. Beavers love to chew through wood and stuff, and of course, after they chew through it, they're probably going to chuck it or throw it away, but woodchucks probably don't do that. But in any case here, it's just for the sake of the saying. If a woodchuck could chuck wood, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck? How much wood would a woodchuck throw away? Hey, I actually said that without screwing up, without being tripped up.
Well, now that you've done that, try to sing it. Yeah, I'm having a hard time trying to imagine what a song featuring this tongue twister would sound like. A Broadway musical that might feature this particular chorus. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? That's starting to sound annoying to me. I like the tongue twister. The song, it might be slightly annoying. But I digress. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break. But don't worry, when we come back, we'll have another tongue twister for you and some history behind it as well.
At the other end of the difficulty scale is the relatively unknown and nearly impossible pad kid poured curd pulled cod. This tricky twister was invented in 2013 by a group of MIT researchers who were studying speech patterns. The scientists made up various phrases that mixed groups of similar sounds, and then they tested which ones their test subjects struggled with most. Pad Kid won the day, defeating even the most fluent speakers.
第二部分我们看到单字 curd， 这个字是名词，指凝乳。例如 Peter tried a recipe which adds milk curd in the dish.Peter 尝试了一个在料理中加入凝乳的食谱，而 curd 这个字也可以当动词使用，指使凝结。我们可以说 Acidity can curd the protein to make cheese. 酸会凝结蛋白质，以利制作起司。接着我们看到名词 cod， 指的是鳕鱼。例如 My mom likes to steam cod with black bean sauce. 我妈妈喜欢用豆豉酱蒸鳕鱼。另外补充与 cod 相关的单字 cod liver oil 指的是鱼肝油。可以说 People often confuse between cod liver oil and fish oil. They are totally different supplements. 人们常常搞混鱼肝油以及鱼油，它们是两个完全不同的营养补充品。再来我们看到的单字是 defeat， 在课文中这个字当动词使用，指击败或战胜。 举例来说 The Warriors defeated the Cavaliers in the 2018 NBA Championship. 勇士队在2018 NBA 冠军赛中击败了骑士队。而 defeat 也可以当名词使用，指战败或失败，像是 The coach gave our team a long talk after the terrible defeat. 教练在球队惨痛的战败后，给了我们一个很长的谈话。最后我们看到形容词 fluent 指流利的或流畅的，例如 The ballet dance that Caddy performed was elegant and fluent. Caddy 的芭蕾舞表演优美且流畅。补充与 fluent 相关的片语，可以用 be fluent in 加语言来表示某人的点点点语很流利。所以可以说 Margaret is fluent in Russian, Korean, and French. Margaret 的俄语、韩语和法语都说得很流利。
At the other end of the difficulty scale is the relatively unknown and nearly impossible Pad Kid Poured Curd Pulled Cod. Ooh, I was only able to say that because it's written down in front of me here, but if I had to memorize it, I'd probably screw it up right away. But we're saying this is at the other end of the difficulty scale. Here, scale just refers to a range of things, a range from the easiest to the most difficult. And I suppose the woodchuck chucking wood tongue twister is pretty easy for Jeff, so that's at one end of the scale. But at the other end of the scale, which means where things are most difficult, we've got this phrase, and I don't even understand it here. Pad Kid Poured Curd Pulled Cod. What the heck does that mean?
There you go. Like Roger, if I hadn't read this beforehand and made sense of it, there's no way on earth that I could have read this out loud without making a mistake. Pad Kid Poured Curd Pulled Cod. Okay? I don't know what Pad Kid is. I don't know what it means, but I imagine that's one part of this particular phrase or this particular tongue twister. Then the verb would be poured, and then what this person, this kid, this pad kid is pouring is something called curd pulled cod. Now, I put this together in my mind before I read it out loud. If I'd just seen these words the first time before I tried reading it, I would have made a mistake. Curd pulled cod, is pulled the verb or is poured the verb? Well, now you know. Poured is the verb. Curd pulled cod, that's one unit. Or I should say, it's the predicate of this sentence. Curd pulled cod. Yeah, I know that there's something called pulled pork. That would be a way of preparing pork. So apparently, there's also pulled cod. That's what I figure. And then if you do a special type of pulling process with curd, you might end up with a curd pulled thing like curd pulled cod. So pad kid poured curd pulled cod. That's the way you say it. Does it make sense to me? No, but the grammar, now that I've fleshed that out, I can read this thing with some sense of understanding. But again, I don't know what curd pulled cod is, and I have no idea what a pad kid is either.
I'm guessing a pad kid maybe is a kid who does maybe extreme sports or something, and he wears too many pads, you know, elbow pads and knee pads and stuff like that. So he got the nickname Pad Kid, and he's also an amateur cheese maker. So he had some cheese curd, and he poured it. And also he had some cod, which is a kind of fish, and he pulled it, like Jeff suggested. Maybe that's a kind of cooking of cod here. But in this sentence also I'm seeing lots of different vowel sounds that might be difficult for our students to pronounce, like pad, kid, pour, curd, pull, and cod, so it's got all sorts of different vowel sounds there that could be difficult for non-native speakers to pronounce. But hey, don't feel bad because we as native speakers have one dickens of a time trying to say this fast. Pad kid poured cold pulled cod. Ooh, boy, if I had to say that 2 or 3 times, I would totally get tripped up.
Pad kid, subject, poured, verb, curd pulled cod, predicate or object. Again, that's the way I can make sense of it. Do I know what's going on here? Not really. Why? Because a group of geniuses made up this tongue twister to confuse everyone else. Yes, this tricky twister was invented in 2013 by a group of MIT researchers, geniuses, who were studying speech patterns. Yes, by the way, if you go to MIT, you're very smart. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology, it's known as being one of the best engineering schools in the world. And here we've got a group of really smart people who are trying to fool us. Of course, they're going to succeed. Yes, this is a group of MIT researchers, people who do research at MIT. Now, more on this word researcher. Usually, a researcher is kind of like a scientist or an academic, but more generally, a researcher is a person who researches at a place like MIT or some place of higher learning. So what does a researcher do? A researcher investigates stuff, studies stuff, and examines stuff in order to find the answers to tough questions or just to understand things more deeply. Here, these researchers, they were studying speech patterns, and they thought, you know what? Let's go ahead and study speech patterns by trying to figure out what the toughest tongue twister imaginable would be. And if we can't find one, we'll make it ourselves.
Yeah, researchers conduct surveys or they do research. They try to gather information. And these were researchers or scientists or whatever that were studying speech patterns. And the scientists made up various phrases that mixed groups of similar sounds, and then they tested which ones their test subjects struggled with most. So they had more than just this one phrase here. They had several ones, and some of them had similar sounds placed close together, and then they had test subjects, volunteers or people who were paid to do some research here, and they tested all these different tongue twisters on these subjects, and then they noted which ones the test subjects struggled with most, the ones that they had the most difficulty with, and they noted those. And I suppose if you did a search on the internet, you could find out what some of those other phrases are that might be difficult to say, like toy boat, toy boat, toy boat. Did I say that right? Did I screw that up?
The last one you were almost messing up there.
It was kind of
close.
Kind of straying off there. Toy boat, toy boat.
Anyways, it's enough with toy boat. More on Pad Kid. Pad Kid, this tongue twister, Pad Kid won the day, defeating even the most fluent speakers. Now here we've got the word defeating. It comes from the verb defeat. If you defeat someone, you beat them. You best them in a competition of some kind, or you make it so that they can't do something. Here, this particular tongue twister got the best of even the most fluent speakers. And also, if you are fluent, by the way, if you are fluent in a language, you can speak that language really well. You speak that language as though it were your own native language. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up our article on tongue twisters.
If you think these look easy, try saying them 10 times fast. Once you've got them down, you can try teasing your friends by teaching them tongue twisters till they turn tongue-tied.
Okay, so let's look at the final portion of our lesson for today. It says, if you think these look easy, try saying them 10 times fast. And we're talking about all of these tongue twisters, about the person selling seashells, about Peter Piper, about the woodchuck, and of course the one about Pad Kid. And you might think, I can do those really easily. I can do them blindfolded with my hands tied behind my back. So you might think they look easy, but hey, try to say them 10 times fast. Notice there I tried to say toy boat, but by the time I got to the third one, I had already screwed it up. But in any case, once you've got them down, once you're familiar with them, and once you're able to say them, you can try teasing your friends by teaching them tongue twisters till they turn tongue-tied. Ooh, our writer is probably the cleverest person on the face of the earth because we have finished this article with a tongue twister. Teach them tongue twisters till they turn tongue-tied.
There you go. Roger's tongue has been tied into knots, so it's time for us to hear from the Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们在这2天的课文里面学了好几个绕口令，看起来好像不难，可是念起来还蛮不容易的。课文最后一句提到说 Once you've got them down, you can try teasing your friends by teaching them tongue twisters till they turn tongue-tied. 一旦你练熟这些绕口令，你就可以试着捉弄朋友们，教他们说绕口令，直到他们吃螺丝为止。好，这边要介绍几个文法重点。首先 once 在这边它是当连接词，用来引导副词子句，表示一怎么样就怎么样。那它跟 as soon as 或者是 the moment 意思相同。例如 Emma noticed a strange smell once she entered the room. Emma 一进房间就发现一股怪味。那我们再造个例句 The moment he entered the classroom, the class became quiet. 他一走进教室，全班就变安静了。好，另外句子里面有一个动词 tease， 它表示逗弄啊、捉弄或是取笑。那它可以指友善好玩的那一种取笑，也可以指很过分欺负人的那一种取笑。我们顺便学习其他表达取笑、嘲笑的用法，像 ridicule 它是拼作 R-I-D-I-C-U-L-E， 还有 mock，M-O-C-K 这2个动词都有嘲笑的意思。那么 ridicule 它通常带有恶意，像我们中文说的去奚落人家、讥笑嘲弄的意思。那么 mock 则常常用来表达故意模仿人家讲话或是动作来取笑对方。举例来说 The boy was mocking her accent， 就表示那个男孩故意在模仿他的口音来取笑他。那还有片语 make fun of或者是 poke fun at， 都可以用来表达取笑啊、嘲弄开某人或某事物的玩笑。例如 The boy made fun of the way she talked， 那个男孩嘲笑他讲话的方式。好，那么最后要介绍的是 till T-I-L-L 的用法。 till 就相当于 until， 表示直到。那它可以当连接词或是当介系词。当连接词的时候 till 或者是 until 后面要接子句。那么当介系词的时候呢，它们后面要接表示时间的名词。我们来造2个例句 We waited till the rain stopped， 我们一直等到雨停。 He stayed up till 3 a.m. 就表示他熬夜一直熬到凌晨3点。那要特别注意的是 until 或者是 till 当连接词用的时候，如果是用来描述未来的时间，那它的主要子句是用未来式，可是副词子句要用现在式来代替未来式。例如 They're going to stay at the beach until it gets dark， 他们要在海边待到天黑。那么例句里面 until 引导的副词子句，这边 it gets dark 就是用现在式表达。好，以上是今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天单字吧。
Gem. Central Park is a real gem for the residents of New York City. Chorus. I don't even like this song, but I've had its chorus stuck in my head all day. Researcher. The researchers will present their findings at a conference at the University of Toronto next month. Defeat. Though everyone expected the home team to win, the visiting team defeated them by 1 point in the end. Fluent. Fluent in English, Spanish, and French, June found it easy to get a job as a translator.
Discussion Starter starts now!
All right, folks, now it's time for our discussion starter. Roger, which tongue twister in the article is hardest for you to say?
Well, I would say that last one there from MIT. What is it? Pad kid, poured cod, pulled cod?
Curd pulled cod, yeah.
I don't even want to see it again. Those people should be shot for doing that to us, to torture us like that with such a difficult tongue twister. How about you?
Well, I couldn't say pad kid either, but I've got to confess something. For my entire life, I've always had a hard time with Peter Piper, as you see, the Peter Piper one, I still can't do it to this day. It's always been the tough because I don't like all those repetitive P or P sounds. They always trip me up. Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.